The story within the story structure did make writing and directing this a bit more complicated, but it was also a lot of fun because I wound the stories together so that they started to feed and fuel each other.
I play two roles. One character is Edward, the writer of the book that Susan is reading. And then I also play Tony, the character in the book.
I wanted the audience to begin to connect the two and realize, aha, he's playing both roles. What's he saying here? It is a story that Edward has written about himself, and Susan visualizes it as such.
He's had his heart broken. He's had this love that he's had for this woman just torn from him, the potential of a family themselves taken away from him. And this book becomes that same sort of expression. They're one and the same, Tony and Edward, but one is experiencing it in a fictional world and one is experiencing it in a reality.
I think Edward figured out a way to write about himself and his experience using metaphor and using imagery to sort of hit it home to Susan.
The last time Edward saw Susan was 20 years ago, and she was pregnant at the time or had just had an abortion. So his imagined daughter looks just like the character of Susan, and his imagined wife also looks just like Amy Adams, the character of Susan.
Laura is the wife that Susan wishes she could be, and that she had been, because ultimately she loved Edward.
One of the things that I like is that I could have been essentially the child that Susan could have had.
The connection between the flashback world and the inner novel that Jake's character, Edward, has written is quite obvious if you're looking for it. For example, the character of Roberto Andes, who's played by Michael Shannon beautifully, I think. You know, he's a classic, the good guy in the American West. He's iconic. Andes represents the little voice that keeps saying, get them, go find them, do it, get revenge. That's what he says in the inner novel. In the outer world, he's saying, write the book, send it to Susan. Let her know that you managed to win.
What are we gonna do?
It's a question of how serious you are about seeing justice done.
Aaron Taylor Johnson's performance for me in this film was a complete revelation.
Good evening.
Good evening.
You know you're supposed to stop when there's an accident, right?
Yeah, I know that.
And why didn't you stop then?
I thought he was perfect for the role, and he was really my very first choice.
Ray is a character that is a mirror of Edward's struggles throughout his whole life and then through the story. Edward wants to defeat this guy, wants to stand up to this guy. He's his worst enemy.
I know you.
What do you say, Ray?
You're crazy. You're making a big mistake.
This story, for me, is really about not throwing people away. You know, we live in a culture where we throw everything away. It's so disposable. We throw people away. And so Susan's at a moment in her life where she's achieved everything that she thought she should achieve from the outside of what her life should look like, yet she's dead inside. And then all of a sudden this novel arrives, and it reawakens a lot of things that she's already feeling. You know, it's really the last straw that frees her. And so that's the central theme, and to me, that's an important one. When you have someone important, someone that you love, don't throw them away, don't let them go. And to me, that was the thing really essentially about the story that spoke to me.